I'll call this special meeting of the Buncombe County Commission to order. And we have County Commissioners Joe Belcher and Jasmine Beach Ferrara are out of town, but they've called in. So they're going to participate in the meeting and vote on the resolution that we have today. Joe and Jasmine, can you hear us okay?
Oh, not a good sign.
I don't think it's on speakerphone.
It's not on
The
speaker,
speaker's
is it?
turned off.
Speaker's turned
Yeah, you're not speaker.
Okay, hang on just a second. We're having trouble hearing you, so we'll get you fixed up.
Can you hear us now?
I can hear y'all the whole time.
Okay, can you hear them good enough?
Yeah, I can hear them fine.
Okay, perfect. You're
Yeah,
you're coming through great
I
now.
can hear you as well.
on. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thanks for calling in. All right, I think we'll just start. I'll ask Mr. Wood to just share a few high-level thoughts about the issue we're addressing today, and then I'll read the resolution that we'll be voting on, and then if there's any questions or discussion, we can have that, and then we can make a. I'm sorry, what? I think I did. I think I said welcome to the special meeting. So if not, welcome to the special meeting. So, all right, Mr. Wood, could you just give us a few high-level thoughts about this before we actually read the resolution?
At the last meeting, y'all directed us to do with the staff, the attorneys, and review all of these contracts with Joe Wiseman. Oh, I'm sorry. You had directed us to review all of the contracts with Joe Wiseman and the various companies that he had been associated with. We did that. We met the next morning in my office, had several staff members there, and went through everything. Mr. Peterson at Solid Waste did an excellent job, along with Jim Holland, of nailing down every open contract we had with him. We went through all of those, and it was our determination that we needed to terminate his services, obviously, given the fact that he has now been indicted. I mean, not that he's been indicted, but with the indictments that came down and the allegations that he was the contractor involved in all of this. So what this resolution essentially does is terminates his services, any and all contracts with the county that he's affiliated with in any way. I do want to let you know also that administratively I have frozen all payments to his company, and we will continue to do that until I can meet with council and see where we go on that.
Can I ask you, what do those payments amount to? Do we know?
The one right now, the only one we have outstanding is a bill for $8,000.
And that's for,
That is for working on the permit to operate, PTO permit to operate the new transfer station. And so he's almost finished with that application, but we're going to stop it and transfer that to another engineering firm. And I'm going to withhold payment pending all of this.
do we know that the lead certification and things that he's done in the past are valid?
As far as we know, they're valid. I don't think there's been any issue about the adequacy of the services he provided. Now, I can't speak to whether the price might have been inflated or anything like that, but as far as the services, I don't think we have any reason to suspect otherwise on that. Do you, Dane? No. Okay. So this first resolution basically says that all current contracts with Joe Wiseman Jr. and all entities with which he is or previously was affiliated, including CDM Smith, Inc. and Environmental Infrastructure Consulting, PLLC, are hereby terminated, and that County Legal Services is directed to work with outside counsel to effect the purposes and intent of this resolution. So that's the first one. And that takes care of the issue of any contracts we have currently with Mr. Wiseman or anybody he's affiliated with. Now, the second issue that we had is, as y'all know, we had gone out for a request for qualifications to hire a new engineering firm for the solid waste operation. And that was basically so that we were terminating our agreements with Mr. Wiseman. And about, I think it was June, Dane and his group made a recommendation to go with CDM Smith. And at that time, the primary reason for that is they did the actual initial design of the landfill, so they probably have more knowledge about it than any firm. And so they had selected them. At that time, of course, we didn't know anything about Mr. Wiseman or these allegations that have come out in the most recent indictment. So Dane and Jim were negotiating the contract with CDM Smith. We were fortunate that contract had not been concluded, and as I told y'all at the time, that contract would have to come back to you for approval. So we are not at that stage. We were still in the negotiating stage. And so our recommendation to you is to pass the next resolution, which is a resolution terminating pending negotiations for professional services with CDM Smith, Inc., and to begin negotiations with the next qualified firm. And that is in keeping with state law. When you do these requests for qualifications, you select based on qualifications, not price. Then you negotiate the price. That's the stage we were at. If you're unsuccessful in negotiating with that company, then you move to your second highest rated company, which is SRS in this case. So we're following the normal procedure in state law, but we're asking you to make a finding that you want that the negotiations are unsuccessful. And they're unsuccessful because we think obviously there's a cloud there about whether or not there was any involvement when Mr. Wiseman worked for CDM Smith. We don't know if there was or wasn't. But in an abundance of caution, our recommendation is we don't need to do business with this company. We need to hire another company.
All right, thank you very much. Any other questions?
George, yeah, I have a question for George on the second subject. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so I want to make sure as you could comment on if we go out for bid for anything, that just because we have done business with this company in the past, to me that should only break a tie. I mean, just because we've done business with them in the past doesn't mean we have to do business with them today. Somebody else can come along, services can be better, the due diligence, proves that out. However, if we've done business with a company previously and they match somebody, maybe that breaks a tie, but that doesn't need to be one of the biggest reasons for doing business with anybody. And I know you're working on changing our purchasing policy and procedures, and I just want to make that comment as we go forward in the bidding process. Is that accurate, or is that
Yeah,
makes sense?
well, as far as what was done here, Joe, we were in full compliance with state law, because state law requires, for a contract this size, it required that we go out on a request for qualifications, and we did that. And then our folks ranked the relative firms, which is exactly what they're supposed to do under state law, and made a recommendation to you to go with the top-ranked firm. And so what we're doing now is when you end those negotiations with the top-ranked firm, you then go to the second-ranked firm. And all of that is spelled out in state law. So none of this will change when we change the purchasing procedures. All of this is spelled out. This is statutory.
Yeah, I understand. I just, want to make sure that we, that we look closely and carefully at, our last decision where we chose CDM Smith,
Yeah.
Over the others, and that we go back, we look at that we learn from it, and if CDM broke the tie because we've done business with them before, that might be logical, but to me that would be the only reason they would break the tie. I mean, they would have to be hands above everybody else in order for us to have chosen them. So I just want to make sure that we're looking at that policy, and that we look at the last decision to make sure that, we can learn from that too.
Right, and we can do that.
So,
Thank you.
in that vein, not to digress, but to digress for a second, going out to bid, if the insurance scheme had been on the up and up, we would have gone out to bid for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the red flags I identified immediately. I don't know how you do a program of that size and not have given other brokers an opportunity to bid on that work.
Well, then commissioners would have been told.
Yeah.
Not only would you have been told, you would have had to
Yeah.
approve the contract.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, any other?
And I think this, I think changing the purchasing, policies and making them very clear, in which is being worked on right now. We have to be sure, to Commissioner Frost's points also, that all these decisions are clearly made in the chamber, and they're not made, in any other way, shape, or form.
I agree with that, and we are, just to reiterate to everybody, we are in the process of reviewing the entire purchasing manual. So we're going to be looking at all of your purchasing policies. Those include everything from supplies and materials on up to construction contracts. So it'll cover every facet of how we purchase anything, and it'll all be nailed down. I do think that clearly too, that a lot of these things, even if they don't meet the statutory requirement for a minimum, there's nothing that says we can't go lower than that and bring those to the board as well. So we're gonna look at all of that.
Yeah. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm just gonna read this the first resolution. I don't think we need to read the whole second one, but I do want to read the first one, so I'll just do that now. Then we can have a motion. Resolution terminating all current contracts with Joe Wiseman Jr. and all entities with which he is or was affiliated. Whereas a federal bill of indictment filed August 7th, 2018 in United States District Court for the Western District of North Carolina, docket number 118 CR 88, names as defendants former Buncombe County Manager Wanda Skillington Green and former Assistant Buncombe County Managers John Eugene Creighton and Amanda Louise Stone, charging each with the following: wire fraud and aiding and abetting the same in violation of 18 U.S.C. Section 1343, 1346, and 2. Conspiracy to commit an offense against the United States in violation of 18 U.S.C. Section 371. Receipt of bribes and kickbacks and aiding and abetting the same in violation of 18 U.S.C. Section 666A, I, B, and Section 2. And federal program fraud and aiding and abetting the same in violation of 18 U.S.C. Section 666A1A and Section 2. Whereas said indictments identifies the contractor as a party to the scheme of the above alleged criminal conduct and identifies Company A, Company B, and Company C as employers of the contractor with which companies Buncombe County entered into various contracts for services from 2001 to date. Whereas in light of the allegations and information in said indictment, many questions concerning contracting and bidding compliance respect the qualifications of the contractor and companies which employed him and which provided engineering services for Buncombe County. Whereas this board understands that the contractor is Joe Wiseman Jr. and the companies with which Wiseman is or was associated, which companies have current contracts for services with Buncombe County, are CDM Smith, Inc. and Environmental Infrastructure Consulting, PLLC. And whereas this board is of the opinion that it is in the best interest of the citizens and residents of the county to terminate any current contracts with Joe Wiseman Jr. and or any and all entities with which he is or previously was affiliated, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners for the County of Buncombe as follows. 1, that all current contracts with Joe Wiseman Jr. and all entities with which he is or previously was affiliated, including CDM Smith, Inc., and Environmental Infrastructure Consulting, PLLC, are hereby terminated. 2, that the county legal services is directed to work with outside counsel to effect the purposes and intent of this resolution. 3, that this resolution shall be effective upon its adoption. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
So,
Right.
second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Are there any members of the public who would like to comment on the resolution? All right, seeing none, any further discussion on this resolution? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. Is there a motion to approve a resolution terminating pending negotiations for professional services with CDM Smith, Inc., and to begin negotiations with the next qualified firm?
I so move.
So moved.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Are there any members of the public who would like to comment on the motion? Any further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Can we clarify that his eye is
Okay,
delayed? and
just
it
for
is-
clarification, Mr. Commissioner Belcher, you've voted in the affirmative on both resolutions, correct?
I did, yes.
Thank you. There was just a slight delay in,
Jasmine?
and Jasmine, you also voted in the affirmative on both resolutions.
Where's she at? She's not there.
Well,
Can-
she's not, she tried to call in to my phone and I couldn't take it, couldn't switch
Okay.
it. I think she may have been dropped. Check and see if you have a text from her. I think she may have been dropped.
Okay, hang on one second. Whoops, let's see.
May have to call her back.
Yeah, Jasmine says she got dropped from the call. Is there a way to loop her back in?
Yes.
Okay, let's give her just a minute to do that.
We done.
Yeah, 'cause I just got a voicemail, looks like, but
Hold on, Joe.
Hi, this is Jasmine. I'm sorry to have missed your call. Please leave your name and number, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
I think I hung up on both of them.
Yeah,
Technology.
I can see it.
Let me just try to call them.
I don't know. Who's good? I need to be in some. Same thing.
I was impressed when he came to the meeting.
It's not answering.
Okay, well,
Call Joe back.
call you back.
Hey, Jasmine, hold on just a moment, and I'll put you back on. Hey, Joe, hold on. Okay, Jasmine and Joe are both here. Hold on.
All right, hey.
Can you both hear us?
I can
yeah,
hear.
you're
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, sorry, I think we had a technical
Did we need-
difficulty. Let's just re-vote on each resolution. Is there a motion to approve a resolution terminating all contracts with Joe Wiseman Jr. and all entities with which he or is or was affiliated?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Are there any commissioners opposed? All right, it's unanimous. Is there a resolution terminating pending negotiations for professional services with CDM Smith, Inc., and to begin negotiations with the next qualified firm?
So moved.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Are any commissioners opposed?
Okay.
All right, it's unanimous as well. Thank you. All right, that concludes the items that we needed to vote on. But before we adjourn the special meeting, I also would like to make an announcement that Buncombe County intends to file a civil lawsuit against Joseph Wiseman Jr. and affiliated companies. John Creighton, and Mandy Stone. We've given direction to legal counsel to initiate a civil lawsuit against these parties related to the most recent federal indictments involving illegal use of taxpayer money. So I just wanted to make that public today as well. Is there any other business before we adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.
All right.